Hello and welcome to another episode of Deprogrammed with Keri Smith. This is the channel where we delve into my old belief system, social justice ideology, which is most often called woke ideology today, and we try and help it make sense. And I try and elucidate through interviews and discussions and videos what I find problematic about it, what I find evil about it in some ways. Today, we are blessed with an interview. I'm very excited about my guest today. I recently got to meet him on his channel and we had a lot of fun. And so I thought this would be a great topic for Deprogram. We haven't really delved into this a lot, talking about woke in the military. Today's guest, his name is Adam. He's an Army veteran with experience in surveillance systems, military intelligence, psychological operations. He's worked as an executive protection, like bodyguard, and he's now the host of the popular Vets Talkin podcast, which is what it sounds like. It's a lot of vets talking, and sometimes they bring on civilians like myself. Please welcome Adam. Hello, Adam.
Hello.
How are
Good to
you?
be here. I'm doing well, Keri. How are you doing?
I'm good. My camera's over there, so I've started moving my guest to that side, so I look like I'm looking at you.
It feels weird. It feels like I'm hosting the show now, though.
Does it bother you?
No, I'm
Oh,
kidding.
okay, good. Well, welcome to Deprogrammed. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us about the military and a little more about your channel. I had a lot of fun meeting you guys the other night. You have a fun show going on there. Um,
Yeah.
can you just tell me a little bit about how you got into doing what you do on YouTube? First of all, let's start there with, in case people don't know who you are, a little bit about your background and what you do today.
Yeah. First off, yeah, I got out of the Army in 2009. I have a number of different ailments. My body broke down over the period of 9 years. When I was doing surveillance work, it was a lot of carrying rucksacks, and I was jumping out of planes for all 9 years. Yeah, I have full disability. So that's why I did a lot of volunteer work with veteran programs and such.
Mhm.
And eventually, I started getting to the security guard field. Eventually, though, the company fell through. I found myself, long story short, at Lake of the Ozarks, where I really was trying to decide, okay, well, what am I going to do now? And I actually submitted an application. I was going to go into the sheriff department here. I submitted an application for the police academy, and I failed. I screwed up the paperwork. And in this entire time period, also, I got involved with Legion of Memers, who is very popular with Friday Night Tights.
Oh, the Legion of Memers, those fun
Yeah,
guys, yes.
yeah. I posted a meme of Gary doing dirty things with a horse, and it popped up on the show, and I got contacted by No Green Rocks, and he invited me in, and I did that for a number of months, and then I got involved with their YouTube channel, which eventually I got stirred into the idea of making my own channel. I wasn't sure what to do initially, but I'm like, hey, it'd be fun to get veterans together to talk about this kind of stuff, to talk about the wokeness that is happening in pop culture and movies and everything, and also to be able to talk about what's going on. So, I mean, my pitch really is that the channel Vets Talkin, drop the G and you'll find me, is talking pop culture, politics, everything in between from the perspective of sick, twisted minds of military veterans. And that's what we do. So Thursday on our Knife Hand show, we talk, which you were on. We typically talk politics and what's going on in our woke military. And Saturday we call Skinamax Saturday, and that's just a bunch of smack talk. Anyone who's been in the military, everyone knows what it's like hanging out in the barracks, and that's kind of what it is. We're just
Mhm.
hanging out, having a few beers, and just talking smack to each other and talking about what's going on in pop culture, movies, and all that kind of stuff. So
Do you guys ever have fear putting your names, your faces out there and offering critique on the wokeness in the military? I know some people are like in this sphere. You often find, like, my co-host on Wednesday nights is anonymous and has
mm.
an avatar. Is there ever a fear there'll be some kind of pushback or attempted cancellation?
I would not doubt it. In fact, we were just talking about how I just posted a tweet on X. I still call it Twitter. About it's a montage of wokeness in the military right now, and I think the most daring thing that I've done so far is I tagged every single branch in that. I'm like, I want you all to see this. I want until you guys fix what's going on in our military, I'm going to keep talking crap about this woke military, and I tagged every branch in there, and so just putting that tweet out there, I'm like, I wonder if this is gonna, bring some more attention that I really don't. I don't care. To be honest, if I'm on a list, I'm doing it right. That's the way
Yeah.
I see it. If you're not on a list, then you're probably being too much of a chicken. You know what? I don't know how much you care about cussing. It's kind of my thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't do it very much on my channel. I try not to anyway, because I know some parents don't want to hear that, but I don't ever tell guests what they can and can't say. So be yourself.
Uh, I'll
But there
try to
are
keep
some
it.
moms watching.
Okay, I'll try to keep it PG-13 at least.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, 9 years in the army, and the F
Yeah.
word is used multiple times in sentences in this.
Yeah.
So
Um, can we start with that video? Would that be a good place to start?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I've got this queued up. This is from people can find you on Twitter, on X at Vets Talkin, no G.
Yep.
And you said, until this woke garbage gets taken out of our military, I'm going to keep talking crap about our woke military. This is what's causing low recruitment, not me.
And real quick before you start playing, the reason I put that in there is because I've talked to people who have accused me multiple times now, specifically one at a retirement ceremony for a Navy chief. I told him about how we've been calling this stuff out, and he said, "You can't do that. Our military recruitment is hurting right now. We need you guys to help." Like, no, dude. No, this needs to get taken out of our military. I'm not the cause of low recruitment. I'm a result. I'm going to
Yeah,
keep talking smack until it's
that's
fixed.
ridiculous. If there's a problem contributing to low recruitment, then you talk about what the problem is and you fix it. It's the same thing with pop culture, with bad movies. If they're writing bad movies and nobody's going to see it and the box office is suffering, then you talk about what the problem is and you fix it. It's not like, oh, let's all pretend this is good and try to trick people into going into it.
Exactly.
Okay. First of all, I haven't even hit play, and just look at them
Yeah.
there all wearing the masks. It just
6 feet apart,
yeah. Okay, let's
probably
see.
multiple masks.
Yeah. But that only come on for the video though, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
of course. Yeah. Take it off right away. Give each other hugs.
okay, I'm gonna
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, President Biden ended the ban on transgender troops today.
Hello, I'm Admiral Rachel Levine. Climate change is having a disproportionate effect on the physical and mental health of Black communities.
That's a man, by the way.
I'm Major Rachel Jones, and what pride means to me is celebrating that diversity is our strength as a nation and as an army.
So for all of you out there, I ask you to set out your symbols of pride, share your pronouns in your email, particularly if you're a person who doesn't think they need to.
Here I am, very gender nonconforming in the traditional sense. Certainly 3 years ago when I came out as transgender, I was essentially ostracized.
The first transgender active duty Army officer in American history is now under arrest, accused of plotting to give the Russian government confidential medical information about U.S. military personnel.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white,
I hate this guy.
and I want to understand it.
This is the story of a soldier who operates your nation's Patriot missile defense systems. It begins in California.
Oh yeah.
With a little girl raised by two moms.
You better have what I want. I don't say peace. I don't say thank you. I just do what I want.
Where we're making good progress designing body armor that fits women properly, tailoring combat uniforms for women, creating maternity flight suits, updating requirements for their hairstyles.
Maternity flight suits. Now think about that. There's so much to dissect in that video, but think about that. They're saying that they want pregnant women to fly.
Why?
Exactly. When in the world is any female pilot, going to get into a jet with a baby in her stomach? It makes no sense.
We're past the point of satire in some ways, like that would make a great comedy sketch. The president talking about, we need maternity flight suits for fighter pilots. Whoa.
Yeah. You can't make this shit up. It's insane. And that Space Force officer who was the one talking about putting pronouns in your bios. I never even saw that video until this montage. I mean, I thought that the Rachel Levine and the other one, that those were crazy enough, but that dude is a dude.
Totally. Can you let's back up a little bit. So he reversed the ban on transgender people in the military. Why was there a ban? Can you address that?
I mean, for like policy exactly, I couldn't tell you, but I think that just to basically break it down, this is going to seem insulting, but there is clearly a mental instability in somebody who thinks like that. And if you don't even know what your sex is, then I don't trust you to be in combat. I don't. This is what another, okay, the mental issues is one thing, and it's not to say that everyone is mentally unstable. Obviously, you've got the Blair Whites out there. There's plenty of people out there who are perfectly well functioning and managed managed to make this transition. But when you see these people in there, like you've got the one the major in there who's saying diversity is our strength or whatever. That person has a plaque on his desk. I'm not going to call it a her. That has pronouns there. And
well, so it used to be, and is, correct me if I'm wrong, the reason that they were disqualified is because the military does not allow anyone with any kind of mental disorder in the military.
Correct. Absolutely.
And I think what's happening is I've noticed this outside of not looking at it from the perspective of what's happening in the military, but just looking at what's happening in culture and when it comes to professional medical organizations and the way they talk about this issue. Gender dysphoria was always considered a mental disorder until very recently. It's always been in the DSM. Just like body dysmorphia. You're looking at yourself and you're saying, I don't feel like I'm happy in this biological sex, or with body dysmorphia with this body. I think I'm really fat, even though you're not, so it's always been a mental disorder, but in the past 5 to 10 years, all the language has been changing. And even the DSM, they've been changing their definitions with each edition, like in the American Psychiatric Association, slightly tweaking it to change the language to remove people's ability to even talk about it in that way, to even say that it's a disorder.
Yeah.
Have you seen this happening?
With the military specifically?
I mean, in culture in general, with the way that we
yeah.
talk about transgenderism or gender dysphoria.
Yeah, I mean, there's people have been pointing out for a long time. You've got the Alex Joneses out there who has been proven right over and over again. He's been saying for a long time that they're just changing the language. They've been changing our language to fit their narratives and to change our culture. And you're exactly right. That's exactly what they're doing when it comes to the transgender movement and everything. They're just changing the language in a lot of ways and making it. I mean, it's not even that it's acceptable now. It's pushed. It's pressured. We're being forced into accepting this. There's the hilarious joke on I think Family Guy, where someone's sitting. There's the transgender dad in there is smoking in a bar. You can't smoke in here. It's okay. I'm transgender. Okay, then you do whatever you want always. And that's where we're at now.
Yes. Man, so I talk about, don't be afraid to talk about any topics on my channel. I've been blessed, knock on wood, so far. They haven't removed a video of mine since the COVID years, so the COVID policy years. So I've openly, it is a mental disorder. I'm going to talk about the fact that it is, and the people that you mentioned, like Blair White, for example. Blair White doesn't deny that it's a mental disorder. That's they're kind of I think culturally what's happening now is you have all of these people who are pushing lies, who are pretending like, that it's normal to feel like your biological sex is wrong and want to cut off your body parts. And so that's being pushed so much so that the people who experience gender dysphoria, who know that it's a mental disorder and they themselves experience it, are like, are we never going to get to the root of what causes this? Like, now we're just saying normal, and the ways in which we deal with it and try to live as the opposite sex is like, that's the best we can do. We're not going to figure out what caused the problem in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
I want to show you something since we started with that video and this topic came up.
Okay.
Have you been following all the AI stuff? Like sometimes I see Tim Pool and people tweeting the questions they ask AI and how AI is evolving in what it's being programmed with and to answer our questions.
Yep.
Let me just share this for you real quick.
It's all evidence that this isn't really intelligent. It just says and does what it's programmed to do.
Yes. So I asked AI 2 days ago, maybe. I'm not sure when this screenshot's from. I was just curious and I went in. If you go into Google, they now have an AI section. When you ask Google a question, that you'll see an AI answer before you see the search results. And so I put in, is gender dysphoria a mental disorder? I wanted to see if they even still acknowledged it as such and said, yeah, it's in the DSM. They do say it's in the DSM, but look at this. They've changed it. I don't know if I can make this larger. They say, wait, that's not the right one. I'm sorry. I'm messing up. It's
good.
This one. Well, let me just read it because it's too small on the screen anyway. It says gender dysphoria is not a mental illness, but some people may develop mental health problems because of gender dysphoria. So now all of a sudden, after all of these decades of it being in the DSM and it's considered itself like there's something wrong, we should figure out what it is. They're saying, no, it's normal to feel this way. But anything you may experience because of it, depression, those things are mental problems, but not the dysphoria itself. And then I put in, is body dysmorphia a mental illness? I want to see, is that they still say it is? Yeah. AI came back and said, yes, body dysmorphia is a mental illness.
Wow.
And so it's like as you mentioned, the language is changing right in front of us.
Yeah.
And it has
It's-
real world effects, like in the military.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, you look at Webster Dictionary. I mean, they changed the definition of racism. Now, I think didn't they change it to where it's like only like white people can be racist or something like that? It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, they keep. If it's almost like if they don't need access to the Constitution to change the Constitution. If they have access to the dictionary and can just change what all those words in the Constitution mean.
That is I have not heard that before. That is absolutely accurate, though. You are
I had
100% on.
I had an old friend who said that once, and it just stuck with me. I was like, that's exactly it. Is language
100%.
games. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you start? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say that when it comes to the transgenderism in the military now, it's not even so much that it's not even just a problem that they're in, which creates massive instability. If there are people who are uncomfortable with being around these kind of people, then you're creating. You need unit cohesion. It's absolutely true. Like there's an old saying that there's no racists in there's no race in the military. There's another word there. I forgot. But because when you get down to it, in the trenches, it doesn't matter what the color your skin is, and anyone who is a real racist, they get weeded out. They get taken out of the military. But when it comes to transgenders in the military, especially when you see the amount of protection of priority that these kind of people are getting. Ryan Kittle talked about, because he actually was an equal opportunity officer when he was in the Navy. We talked about when he was on my show. People think it's just a joke that he's the DEI guy for FNT. What he really was, the equal opportunity guy in the military. And he said that it's coming down now. If you have to be so careful what you say. If you misgender somebody, apparently that can be punishable now in the military. And it's like that officer that we saw, that's a dude. Okay, don't tell me if I say yes sir by accident, I'm going to get on Uncle 15. I'm going to get punished for that. That's insane. So that is going to create massive instability in the unit when you see people like that getting that kind of priority. Also, at the same time, they are allowing tax dollars to do these surgeries on people. If someone goes into the military and says, "I'm not happy as a man, I need to have a surgery done," taxpayer dollars is not going to transition that person in the military. And if this person has any kind of results after the surgery that is mental or physical or anything like that, they are non-deployable. They don't even have to do their damn job. So somebody can get a 3 or 4 year enlistment, have the surgery done, and skate through the entire rest of their deployment or their time in and not have to do anything because they just claim that they're having issues. So this is like I said, we're
What
talking about
a scam if you want to get your transition surgeries
Yeah.
paid for.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a massive. It is disgusting, and it is absolutely it's destroying our military.
Well, or you could also be a murderer, rapist in California, and then the taxpayers will pay for your transition also.
That's right.
They do that for prisoners. Which I just find, I'm like, wow, that's incredible. That's even worse than paying for it with tax dollars in the military. It's like these are the people who have shown that they're not capable of living in society without hurting other people, and we're going to pay for them to have gender reassignment surgery now as a
Yeah.
gift, that they're
Somebody,
imposing.
yeah, and a man can be a rapist and then say he's a woman and get put into the women's jail.
Yes. Yeah, that's happening as well.
Mm-hmm.
When did you first start seeing woke or understanding what it was? I always like to ask people, I think of it sometimes like I love zombie movies, zombie comics and stuff, and just the whole archetype of zombies, of things, of the world changing overnight, of waking up and you're in a different world where there are
Yeah.
different rules and things you never knew before. And I kind of think of the woke ideology like that. The social justice ideology is like a virus, and people had different moments where they started to wake up and say, what is going on in this world? What was your moment where you started noticing that people were thinking just in a different way, or that this ideology had infected so much?
I'm sitting here thinking, I can't recall like exactly. I do know the first time I saw the word, I saw a hat in a store that said "Stay woke," and I didn't understand what that meant because I know me and other people say, we're awake. That was a thing for a while before woke even showed up. We're awake to what's going on. We talked about this on my show when you were on that it's been transition. Before woke, it was all the social justice warriors, which is what you yourself proclaimed that your former livelihood was.
Yeah.
And then somehow when we were on, I used the example, it's like sleeper cells. It's like these people were programmed through the years, through education, through Hollywood and everything else. They've been programmed, and then it's like they were activated, like a sleeper cell gets activated all of a sudden. And yeah, I think that a large part of it probably really triggered off after George Floyd. That really got the race baiting just kicked up into, high speed at that point. Obviously through Obama years, it was getting really bad. That guy was the ultimate race hustler out there. And then, but yeah, I think is kind of like a boiling pot. I think that Obama kind of is like boiling it up. And then Trump became president. And I think the TDS, the Trump derangement syndrome, really threw people off. And then the summer of love in 2020, I think is really just threw everything into high gear. Yeah. The riots and all that. And so, yeah, I think really more than anything, Trump, I think, really got things going. And it's not to say that, it's not obviously that he's a divider. He just got people to come out and show who they really are, is really what happened. All these people, I think they were really down. They kind of had these ideas already, but then he just is like, they were just awakened, or I guess they woke. And but again, though, it's like it's all the media and everything. When they're hyping up the racism, they're hyping up the istophobic phobophobes. They hype that stuff up to 1,000 through all the media, through the news and the social media and everything. So, but yeah, I think that.
When did you first start seeing it in the military? Because at this point, you were out of the military probably when there started to be hints of it having infected infected the army and stuff as well. Around what time was that, do you think?
I think that it's directly under Biden.
Under Biden.
Yeah. I think that when Obama was president, I got out right before. I mean, literally, I drove through Washington, D.C. from Fort Bragg back up to home in Vermont. I drove through D.C. when his inauguration was happening when I got out of the military. So I got out right before then. But it was under Obama when they got rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which is a policy that worked just fine. I had at least one, maybe two gay friends who were in the military who came out and said, "Hey, yeah, I'm gay." Okay, cool. You don't think I'm gay, do you? No, I just know that you won't have a problem with it. Okay, and we're good. But as long as they didn't come out and really be out and loud about it, then they can be in the military. It's just fine. Nobody had a problem with it. But now they got rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And now it's encouraging people, like we saw, like you got the Navy guy in there on the video who's out and proud, and they're making videos saying, show your pride and all that stuff. And it's not necessary. The military, the Army is not a social experiment. Keep that stuff out of there. The military is supposed to be non-political, and you're just supposed to have the mission. You're supposed to go in, break shit in other countries, and save America and protect our country. That's it. But they're turning into a social experiment now. Whereas one thing when Obama got rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, but then under Biden now it's the big push. It's the big push of all these extreme leftist stuff. The transgenderism, the pride stuff. They say they literally the motto has been a lot now is diversity is our strength. Diversity is not our strength. Our strength is our strength. Our ability to shoot guns and blow shit up is our strength.
Right, which requires cohesiveness.
Yes.
And it strikes me as you're saying this, I never really thought about it that way before with Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and now, shout your pride and all this. Social justice itself as a belief system, it's all about atomizing us into these different identity groups and saying, these are the most important things, and you have to notice these things and talk about these things, and we're all so different. White people are so different than black people, and gay people are so different than straight people, and trans people are so different. And so once it infects the military and everybody's talking about what identity groups they're in, and it's so important that you recognize this, and I don't see how you can maintain over time that cohesiveness that's necessary that you've talked about. Because it will destroy. It's what destroyed Occupy Wall Street. Occupy Wall Street, for a lot of people who were there, talked about and I was there a few times. I was a total leftist then. I was a producer. We were shooting a documentary with some comedians there. We didn't stay there. We went there and interviewed people. We were there a few times, but I heard from people who were there, who stayed there, that eventually social justice moved in. And everything just became infighting over which identity group was the most oppressed. And that whole thing fell apart. Everything fell apart. And so what's the future of our military if we don't root this belief system out? That identity is so important.
It's okay. So recently there was the Navy chief that I know you don't like him anymore. Crowder got undercover undercover footage.
Nobody knows that except you. I don't think I've even commented on it anywhere except on your show.
Oh, really?
that throwaway joke. It was like a throwaway joke, but yeah. Now my channel knows.
Oh, well, I mean,
okay.
we've actually had debates on my channel too, because people are split on it. It does, the video that leaked out looks really bad. I still enjoy his show, but I get that he's not a great guy.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he got undercover video of the top DEI Navy chief, the DEI advisor to the Navy Chief of Staff, which is the top general, or in this case, admiral of the Navy. And he admits on the camera that DEI, everyone thinks that DEI is a waste of time, except for the Navy Chief of Staff, this female officer, intersectional. I guess she's Asian, female, probably gay also. So yay, intersectionality. So he's on there. He says that everyone knows it's a waste of time. That he admits that it is probably weakening our military. It is causing low recruitment. And he also admits that Democrats' policies make our military weaker. But at the same time, he still says that he will still, if Trump becomes president, he will still push DEI, but he'll just change the language. he'll still push he'll push
Yeah.
the same policy, but he'll just change the language to make Trump think that it's okay. So he admits that it hurts our military. He admits that that Democrat policies hurt our military, but this girl he's talking to, he still says you should vote for Biden. And this, we had a hot debate on this because people said that, oh, you know, look, this poor guy, he just got his career ruined because of this. I don't care. I will die on this hill that guy is an absolute piece of garbage who has no problem. If our military is being hurt, then our country is hurt.
Yeah.
If we go to war and have a weak military, people will die as a cause of this. DEI will turn into DIE and kill people. People will die. Yeah, he even comments on there that China is our biggest enemy, which is amazing revelation also that someone that would admit that, because they're trying to claim that that, you know, that we need to support Ukraine and that Russia's so bad and also Gaza issues, but China is our number one enemy. And he says that, you know, as soon as a bomb hits the side of a boat, American boat, then DEI is going to go out the window and nobody's going to care about it anymore. But guess what? The damage is already done.
Yeah. There are real world consequences to this belief
Absolutely.
system, and not just in the military, but the military is a big one. That one of the clips that you had in that video there was the cartoon recruitment video
Oh yeah.
with the little girl and with two moms. And I remember when that advertisement first came out, I saw a mashup of that and then a video from China of kids disassembling handguns, like learning how to put them together. And
Yep.
it's like like I didn't feel very secure about
Yeah.
the US military seeing that advertisement.
Yep, our recruitment ad is a flowery cartoon of a female soldier saying that she wanted her inspiration to join the military was her two moms and fighting for social justice. And then yeah, you compare that to China or Russia recruitment ads, and they're in the mud, they're shooting stuff, you know, they're being hardcore, and that is what you want. You want to make the military look tough, to have tough people join the military. I spoke with somebody who was a recruiter actually, and this is, I think it was before Biden became president, but he told me how at the national level they were starting to move into blue cities, more of a push into blue cities for recruitment, which they normally would not do because they know that that Democrats, that liberals are not the type of people who will generally want to join the military. It is conservative people. It is farmers. It is people who grew up hunting and doing tough guy stuff, even as kids, who want to go into the military to shoot guns and blow shit up. But even before Biden became president, they started this move. And I thought, well, maybe it was under Biden, but in any case, it is like at first it seemed like it was a desperation move because they're having issues getting recruitment numbers, so they're going, okay, well, let's try blue areas. I feel very certain that this has been an intention, and this is, you know, tinfoil hat time, that they want to hurt our military. And that, in fact, they even said after January 6th, they said that we now need to put they call it some sort of a pause in the military to weed out racist individuals, extremists within our military. And what does that mean? That conservatives, people who are MAGA. I don't know how many people they weeded out specifically, but this is the same thing. You know, it's the same thing that they've been saying, MAGA extremists. Well, what does that mean? That's half the country. Half the country is people who are Republican conservatives, extremists. They want to label anyone who supports Trump as a MAGA extremist. And they've been trying to weed these kind of people out of the military for quite a while now and put in liberal people who are weak. These kind of people, they did not grow up. There's the kind of people who, like I was saying, who want to shoot guns, who want to blow stuff up, anything like that. So it was an intentional move, clearly, to get rid of what they consider to be dangerous people out of our military. Well, guess what? Dangerous people are the kind of people you want in the military. But it just depends on what their definition of dangerous is, because they just think Republicans and conservatives are dangerous.
Yeah. This again has to do with them destroying language and using words as tools instead of to communicate more effectively. They use them as weapons. And so they've weaponized, you know, MAGA itself. They've weaponized, like you said, anyone who voted for Trump is an extremist. That was part of what woke me up from, you know, there were many things that went into it, but when Trump won, which I was still woke at the time. This was the first time he won, and I was not understanding what was going on, and I was one of those devastated people. But over a period of time, the things I started to see, and I don't have to rehash the story. I told it on your channel, but one of the things I don't think I mentioned there was that everyone in my circle started calling everyone who voted for him a Nazi.
Yeah.
And that to me was just, this is ludicrous. Like,
Yeah.
you're talking crazy talk and dangerous crazy talk, because at the same time they're pushing this punch a Nazi thing was kind of a viral meme at the time. It's cool to punch Nazis, but you're saying that's half the country that you can exert physical violence on now, but you've justified it because of what you're calling them with
Basket of
that word.
deplorables.
Yeah, basket of
As
deplorables, all
Clinton
that
says.
stuff.
Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. And it's, again, this is like we were talking about, how things got triggered, how things, got triggered off, how these people who were programmed into this mentality got activated like a sleeper cell. And there's an example there's a video when the Summer of Love was happening. There was I think it was like a Christian rally was happening somewhere on the West Coast. It might have been in Washington, where when the rally got done, there was someone wearing a MAGA hat. And you hear a voice go, "Hey, we got one over here." Pow, pow. The guy was the guy was killed because he was wearing a MAGA hat. They literally said, "Hey, we got one over here." Next guy went up and shot him dead because he was wearing a Trump hat.
And the media, I didn't even know about that one. See, the media is
Yeah.
not going to cover that the same way they will cover fake stories, obviously fake stories by people like Jussie Smollett of, MAGA hat attackers, and they'll
This is
do,
MAGA country
yeah,
in Chicago. Yeah, okay.
they'll put that on the news
Yeah.
24/7. But those stories, yeah, they tell one narrative. That's a false narrative. So this clip that you mentioned about the DEI advisor and changing the language,
Mhm.
that's really interesting to me that he was so open about the fact that that's what they do. Because I'm kind of wondering now, have you noticed, I see people, I think we're getting to a point where the word woke might start losing its effectiveness to accurately describe this belief system. So I see people on the left saying, well, woke is just what conservatives say about anything they don't like, which is not true. That's not what it means. However, I do see some people in the reality-based community, supposedly, or people on the right, I think now kind of misusing that word and even using it to describe other people on the right, like talking about the woke right and stuff, which doesn't make any sense. I don't know
Yeah.
anyone on the right pushing social justice. And so I think they're weakening the word. They're actually weakening it so that we're
Yeah.
probably going to there might be another one coming down the pipe.
Yeah, in fact, just today, actually, I was watching a show that used that word, the terminology of the woke right. I'd never even heard that before today. But yeah, the person who was talking about it was basically very strong. Oh, you know what? It's somebody who's been on Geeks and Gamers. Oh God, I can't remember his name now. But in any case, strong Christian, very Christian individual. And he used this terminology, which I disagree with it too, to say that people who claim to be Christian but says that they're okay with like gay marriage or anything else of this, he uses this list of liberal policies and whatnot. If you're okay with this stuff, then you were just the woke right and you shouldn't blah blah blah. I'm like, that's a very extremist viewpoint. I mean, to be honest, like when it comes to social stuff, I consider myself Christian. I do believe in Jesus, but at the same time, I was never raised in the church, and I don't have issue with gayness or gay people. We got Mike Harlow's going to come on my show this Saturday.
Mikey.
Yeah, I love the guy. I've never talked to him before, but I think he's amazing. But yeah, so I consider myself to be at least slightly socially liberal when it comes to that kind of stuff. Someone like a Blair White, I don't have a problem with her. Who I'll call her because at least she's a good person. I suppose a lot of these psychopaths out there. But I think it's kind of trailed off
Well,
and lost track of my point I was going to make. But
no, well, that's so interesting that he used it in that way, because that's kind of my point, is it's being used in all kinds of ways now. And to be clear, I do take my faith very seriously, and I do believe God says, certain God lays out what sins are. And as a human, I've accepted through enough trial and error of learning how wrong I am, that I am not one to say, well, God's wrong on this one about what's a sin and what's not. But it doesn't mean that I hate people because I believe that homosexuality is a sin, or sex outside of marriage, or any number of sins. Obviously, you're having one of my best friends on. There's from the left, there's this whole, they push this false idea that if you believe in Christianity and you take the gospel as God's word, that you have a lot of hatred for people who don't agree with you, or who don't agree that those things are sins. And that's not the case at all. And I think part of that is probably from bad witness, from bad people who are claiming to be Christians and actually are hateful. But I just wanted to say that, because I felt like, oh, if we're going there, I have to say, but the fact that he was using it to describe what sounds like some aspects of actual wokeness creeping into conservatism. I haven't even heard it used in that way, Adam. I've heard people using woke right recently to describe all different kinds of things. They'll say that neoconservatives are woke. They'll say that Christians are woke because they believe that they believe in morality. They believe in some things are right and some things are wrong. They're misusing the word. Some people are using woke now just to mean authoritarianism, which that's not what it means. Like, it is authoritarian, but there's a word for that already. Authoritarianism. That's a descriptor of what it is. So I know we got a little bit off subject with the military here, but we're in this moment where I think that the word is in danger of being overused and abused to the point that people don't know what we're talking about anymore. And I'm like, no, because it's been so effective at describing what social justice ideology is, and people understanding it, that this whole thing about competition for between identity groups for power, and redistributing that power.
We've talked a few times on my show, having debates on what woke is in pop culture. Like to say that you have a female lead in a movie, so that must mean the movie's woke. No, if it's pushing an agenda, that's the biggest thing.
Yes.
If the gender or the sexuality or anything like that is like a main focus of it and it's pushing an agenda, that is what's woke. Captain Marvel is absolutely woke because it's like, girl power, all that kind of lame stuff. It was a terrible movie. That was definitely woke. But I think Knock at the Cabin, I think, was a movie that came out recently that the main characters were gay. So immediately people said, oh, that's going to be a woke movie. Turns out it's actually a good movie. And the fact that they're gay had no real part to the plot. So it's not really woke. They just want gay characters in there.
Yeah, we are in danger also. I think sometimes people on the right of what it sounds like you're talking about of being conditioned to see it and to expect it, because it is everywhere now, and to write things off before even seeing, you're in danger of that kind of backlash where people are just automatically saying, well, this is going to be woke because there's a female character or gay, and it's like, no, that's not what it means at all. Yeah. I agree with you. So tell me a little bit about your show. I know you talked about you have the political show, and you have a show that's like being in the barracks. Can you describe? Let's talk about that. That's fun to me. What is the humor like when the military is working right and you are a cohesive unit? And do you guys, like cops, do you think like a darker sense of humor?
Oh yeah.
And okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
Some of the military guys I know. What's that like? That camaraderie and that.
The military is just raunchy as hell.
Okay.
You know, especially when you get Marines on. My God, Marines. I mean, I thought it was weird in the Army, the way that you know, a sense of humor and you know, like I said, the dark sense of humor and everything like that. Marines are just next level though. But yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of smack talk too. We just, you know, we just talk smack to each other, and you know, whether it's between branches or and whatnot. I have a Marine friend here at Lake of the Ozarks who's coming on my show a lot lately. He was a grunt in the Army. I mean, in the Marines, and you know, there's the old school stuff you hear about, you know, like the brawls in the bars and everything like that between Army and Marines or Marines and Navy. It always seems to be the Marines who want to fight, but it really is just we talk smack for fun now. I've never met a Marine that I really wanted to fight. No, that's not true. There's some obnoxious ones out there, but for the most part, especially it's especially even what's strange also, it's the grunts. It's like the infantrymen who really will just be like the cool guy who just wants to talk smack but doesn't actually really want to fight. It tends to be like the people who weren't in combat roles and feel like they have something to prove that will end up being the dumbass who really wants to try to act tough. But yeah, we get on. We'll talk smack about the different branches. You know, us. You know, he'll like the Marines will say, "Oh, you're Army," so that means, you know, the acronym Army. They like to say means ain't ready for Marines yet. So you know, yeah, we're the better one. Yeah, well, guess what? You guys are a bunch of jarheads, and you know, we actually got brains enough not to join the Marines. But yeah, it's same thing like talking with the Navy and the Air Force. They'll be like, yeah, well, at least we got the prettier women. Like, yeah, you guys are right about that. But yeah, it's that's just what we do in the military, and it's and I get a lot of compliments by people who come on the show, and also a lot of veterans who show up in the chat that, like I said, it's like hanging out with guys in the barracks again, and that's the kind of thing that you really miss about the military. I hear football players say the same things. One of the biggest things they've missed about being in the NFL was the locker room, just getting to hang out with the guys and playing games and whatnot. And it's a lot like what we do now. You know, we get to come on and we can rant about stuff that's happened in the military, it's happened in politics, and talk smack about TV and movies, and then talk about stuff we like also.
Mhm.
We do a lot of story time things. And it's not, you know, prompted, but you know, we'll be like, hey, you know, back in the military we did this and this, and it's a lot of fun. It's very therapeutic to a lot of guys and gals.
I know the military is still predominantly male. That hasn't changed despite these different recruiting things that they're doing. Um, I think it's very much a kind of male culture, that kind of locker room environment. Although the women can traverse in it, they
Sure.
do on your show. But I think in terms of averages, that's more of like that's like what a guy's hanging out. That's what that's like. And
Yeah.
for me, I'm not that great at it. I like to think I can hang out in like the guy space and like, but back when I used to be I was in a gun club when I lived in LA, and I was around a lot of guys who were former military or cops, and they were just had that. You guys have this way of ragging on each other and just sort of insulting one another constantly, but in humor, and still knowing that you're friends and it's all good. And
Mhm.
uh it was so foreign to me. That was my first time in one of those like all kind of guy kind of culture environments. So I had to get a book out of 'em. It was called Insults and Comebacks, and I was studying it. It was like a little pocketbook. Help me get better at that. Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah.
You had to get a
That
book to learn to be one of the guys.
yeah, it didn't take so great, but that's what one of your shows is like. And then you've got Knife Hands, which I was on, and you guys talk politics.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let me get my soundboard up because I always have to knife hands. That's what I always gotta do. I gotta make sure I get my sound effect when I do that. But yeah, we I got on there, and originally it was just gonna be pure like anger, like really just venting and getting pissed off about, you know, the stupid crap that's going on in the military and politics in general. And the show has shifted now. It's definitely we definitely do our rants. Like I can get on my soapbox. I think you've already noticed here pretty well, and I'll just start yelling into the microphone sometimes about this stuff that's going on. I'm not faking it either. This is me really blowing up about this kind of stuff. And but it's adapted now. We just do throw a lot more fun in there at the same time, because you can't just listen to guys just being angry for 2 straight hours. But yeah, it's a good mix, and I think I'm going to start doing something like what you're doing here now too, because I meet a lot of Green Berets and Rangers and stuff like that. People have some really good stories to tell, so I think I'm going to start doing some interview stuff as well.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who have some really great stories out there, and also, and this is actually, we never even got around to talking about it when you were on my show, but Tom McDonald is actually how my channel blew up. For anyone who's not familiar,
Oh, tell us that story, because that's such a random Tom McDonald, the rapper.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, actually, I found him early in 2020, I think before COVID hit, with his song "Fake Woke." And he, for anyone who's not familiar, he's the #1 independent rapper in the world. He has no label or anything like that, and he gets #1 hits all the time because he looks crazy too. He's got these braids and tattoos all over his face. But the guy's super cool. He's somebody who went through very hard times, and he got out of it. He recovered from alcoholism and drug addiction, completely sober now, and he is an incredible American patriot, even though he grew up in Canada. But yeah, I just knew that I wanted to do reaction videos to like patriotic type music, and my first idea was Tom McDonald's song "America." Which is a great song talking about how now that our military he's talking specifically about how America is being hurt, how our military is being hurt, how that illegal immigrants get better treatment than our military does and our veterans do. And that song got me monetized right away. I picked up thousands of subscribers on that. And then I did a few other songs. And then he came out with American Flags, which is an amazing song. I mean, it's a huge banger. They do the song on an M1 Abram tank, and they've got graphics of jets
I
flying
don't
through
think I've
the air.
heard that one. Okay, I gotta go watch that one.
It's good. And yeah, Tom McDonald fans are incredible. Called the Hangover Gang.
Yeah.
I think ironically, since he doesn't drink anymore. But yeah, I picked up over 5,000 subscribers off of that alone. And so yeah, in just a year, I went from nothing to 12.5 thousand subscribers. And it's largely because of Tom McDonald, and just because his fan base is so great, his anti-woke messaging. He's not political. He doesn't consider himself a Republican or Democrat. He's just an American,
He
and
comments
just
on
has
the culture wars with music.
yeah, and he just has common sense. So
I love him. I haven't listened to him in a while, but I loved his song "Everybody Hates Me." And also, the thing about him that I really liked, I said this a while back, people will even remember this from my old channel, when I first discovered his music, and I was so obsessed for a little bit, was that I'm like, this is a guy who truly doesn't care what people think about him. Why? Because he's a rapper named Tom McDonald, and he didn't change his name. He was like, no, Tom McDonald sounds great. Like he just like a farmer.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't come up with some cool new nicknames like Tom McDonald the rapper. That's cool. That's like, I don't care what people think.
Yeah, he's just based. He gives 0 Fs. He doesn't care what anybody says. In fact, there's his last song that he just did is over 8 minutes long, and it is like, it's not the kind of song you could be banging your head to or anything. It's just it is a message to everyone out there. He tells his entire story and says, I don't care. You guys can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. I'm going to keep being me. And yeah, it's just amazing that he's able to do what he does, and just flips a finger to everyone who doesn't like it.
It sounds like you admire him quite a bit. Who else do you admire in this crazy time that we live in? We happen to live in one of the craziest timelines, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I admire anyone who is just willing to be open, honest, and brave. And somebody who has the bravery to go out and is not afraid of this cancel culture, or someone who's not afraid to be called a Nazi or anything else. Go out and wear a MAGA hat. Show wear. I've got one of my favorite shirts is a Let's Go Brandon shirt. It's got an American flag with camouflage on it. Be brave. That's who I really appreciate. And so, and in the pop culture, you have your John Riches out there, your Tucker Carlsons, all these people who are willing to go out there, who are willing to be canceled and flip the finger and say, I don't care what you guys think. I'm gonna be a patriot. I'm gonna love this country, and I don't care what you think about it. You can call me every single name under the sun, but I'm gonna keep doing it. And that's who I appreciate.
Do you think that we're winning, that we're turning things around
Yes.
culturally?
Yes. I firmly believe. I think that we were on the downswing and we are on the upswing right now. I think the pendulum is massively shifting in our favor. I have really no stats or anything to back this up, but I've been saying for a while now, I think this woke thing is going to be gone in 3 years. I think that I think that people are waking up to it. I think that especially if Trump becomes president again and people do see absolute truth that they were better under him from 2016 to 2020, and then when things get better again, when he becomes president again, people will finally wake up and say, okay, now I know for a fact you guys have been lying to me this entire time. This was Biden's fault. He killed our country, and Trump is the savior. He is the one who's fixing everything, and I think that is going to kill the political left.
You think you're talking about, I'm guessing, people who are kind of like normies somewhere in the middle. Like maybe they're on the left, but
Yes.
they're not super ideological warriors.
Yeah.
Because those people, I don't think it matters. The ones who are so hardcore committed, the extremists, it's funny they call everybody else extremists, but I don't think even 4 years, if Trump were in there and things got better in the economy, and I don't think they would even notice. The
No,
ones
they
that are
won't.
super indoctrinated.
Yeah, the programmed ones, like you
Right.
say,
But they're not the ones who tilt which way we
No.
go.
Dan Bongino, who is someone I get a lot of my information from, I watch his show every day, says that we're not fighting for the extreme left like you're talking about. There is the third party. When we're out here talking, when he's doing his show or I'm doing my show, and I'm talking like I want people to change their minds on who to vote for. There are so many people who think the left is just too far gone. You'll never change their mind. We're not talking about the extreme left. We're talking about the third party. We're talking to the third party out there who are the people who they may still think that Trump is the bad guy and they don't want him in, but they're willing to change their minds and they're willing to adjust. Another thing Crowder's done, just did, we just saw a clip of it. He's just going out talking to people out on the streets, and there are plenty of people in a short clip that he showed that say, yeah, I voted for Biden and I don't like Trump, but I think that we can't keep going like this. So I'm going to vote for Trump now. Those are the people. Those are not the extreme leftists. You're right. The extreme leftists, they're living in their matrix. They're living in their own world that they will never break out of. They're too far gone. But people like yourself, who you saw the messed up thing that this extreme left is doing, and you were able to break away from it. And I think there are plenty of people like that out there who
I
will
know
see
lots
it.
of them who've woken up in the past, 8 years. Do you have faith in the election process? I mean, I don't have faith in the military right now. I don't, what about the election process?
So here's the way I see it. I think my belief is that every single election gets rigged in some way. There's always somebody out there who is doing shady things to rig to shift an election. That's why I think that the policies that California has, as long as there's a Democrat in office, they will never be able to fix it. I think that California is rigged all the damn time. But here's something I've been telling people on to have faith in why that we can still win this election coming up is because, for one, I think that the election between Trump and Hillary back in 2015, everyone says 2016. That's when he got inaugurated. Or was it? Never mind. Strike that.
Yeah, 2016.
I think that he won by way more than the numbers showed. I think that he won that in a landslide, but they rigged the election for Hillary to win. They just didn't know how much support Trump was going to have.
Yeah.
So they didn't rig it enough. They did, however, in 2020. They rigged it they had to rig it so bad that it was blatant. We saw the video.
It was blatant.
Yes. We saw the video of in Georgia where they're pulling crates out from under a table and running after they said that they weren't even going to be counting votes anymore because they had to get rid of it because of a pipe burst, which we found out was a complete lie. They had to blatantly, in your face, rig that election and just trust that the people will believe the narratives. And unfortunately, many people did. But I think that there's plenty of people out there who were able to see and say, okay, no, we see the rigging here. You are the ones who are lying.
It's incredible to me. I've gotten to the point, by the way, starting Adam a couple weeks ago when I did my Cuomo video. I say everything I think on YouTube now. I'm just trying to see if the rules have changed and we can. So I don't believe the obvious. I'm with you. The last election, I don't trust any election since Kennedy probably, but especially the last one, it was so ridiculous to me that people believed that. And I
Yeah.
can say that now on YouTube. It may get taken down, but I'm gonna try and see.
No, yeah, they're
Yeah.
fine. They changed the policy on the election rigging thing because they
Yeah.
want to be able to allow Democrats to say it when
say
when
that
Trump
about
gets
this one.
elected. Yep, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
look at
yeah.
that. Is that real? They changed the policy?
Yeah,
You
they
know
did
that?
it. They did it a few months ago. Yeah, it was somebody. I don't know where somebody found it, but we found out through my YouTube circle that yep.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yep. Because they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Trump gets reelected, then they are going to flip the narrative and say that it was rigged.
Stolen,
That
yeah.
Trump, they're going to and they will do it seamlessly. After 4 years of saying that we're election deniers for blah blah blah, even though every single Democrat has denied every single election that a Republican has won since the year 2000. They get up there over and over and over again. This election's fake. Blah 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 blah. They said for 4 freaking years that we are election deniers, and that was the best and safe. And you can't talk about that. YouTube, you would get
can't
shut down.
discuss it. Yeah, you get shut down. Your channel get taken down.
But if Trump wins, they will throw it in high gear, and they will have no shame about it whatsoever.
Yeah. Wow.
And it'll just be our job to let people know if there's still people out there who says, "Oh, well, that was a rigged election." You remind them, 4 freaking years you did that to me. Don't let people get away with it.
Yeah. So I want to wrap it up with something positive, like sort of advice. I don't know, maybe not really advice, but sometimes I ask people at the end of shows, like, because we do live in crazy times and people are dealing with living in something that's like a dystopian novel. How do you maintain? I know a lot of people who've struggled with depression or different uh just being in a dark place sometimes in this world. How do you deal with that, and what do you find, what gives you joy during chaotic times?
Oh, yeah. I mean, things have been pretty low lately. I'll tell you what, doing YouTube has been very therapeutic for me.
Really?
Yeah, being able to, like I said, on Saturday when I'm just hanging out with friends and everything, just talking, and just being able to talk in general. That's one of the worst things you can do is seclude yourself, which I'm very capable of doing sometimes. But yeah, I get either, the YouTube is very therapeutic, talk to friends on here and hang out with my buddy Scotty out here, we're talking about going just being able to go shooting and stuff like that. Just being able to hang out with friends and just talk. That's the best thing for me. If I find myself in a slump and I'm just sitting at home, just watching movies and TV and whatever, not doing anything else, that's the worst thing you can do. And I acknowledge it, but yeah, just being around good people you like is the best kind of therapy for me.
Yeah, getting out, going to meetups sometimes, meeting people face to face
Yeah.
that you've met online. That's always fun.
Oh, the
And
FNT meetups are the best.
yes, I've had so much. I go to the Texas ones usually. I think there's another one coming up or something. And it's just that, yeah, getting to meet people and put a face to a name. I love it.
Yeah,
Well,
I just
go ahead.
uploaded my my Vegas vlog. my editor, Good Stuff. If anybody checks it out, amazing editing job. I've watched my own vlog multiple times now because it's so entertaining. So if anybody out there wants to check it out, check out the Vegas meetup vlog on my channel. It's very well done. Check out Good Stuff. Anybody needs an editor out there, go to @GoodStuff on Twitter.
@GoodStuff.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down. I needed an editor.
I will send you his contact information. He's amazing.
Cool. Awesome. Well, tell people where they can find you. We have all the links below, but let them know where they can find you and what you have coming up.
I would say at Vets Talkin, drop the G and you'll find me. I'm on all of them. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, all of that. Got all the socials. Actually, on Kick, it's at Vets Gaming because we do game content sometimes. Yeah, Fridays. Actually, I always forget to promote this, but we've been playing Helldivers a lot. Amazing combat game. A lot of fun. That I mean, we're military guys. So we love Call of Duty and Halo. We love shooting stuff and blowing things up. So yeah, we do the video game content. Obviously, always wait, let me do it right. Knife Hands on Thursday, Skinemax on Saturday, always at 10 o'clock Eastern for both of those shows. And yeah, I got some more Tom McDonald content coming out. And like I said, I'm working on some other ideas too. Like I said, we'll probably be starting to do some interviews with some cool military people and stuff like that.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Adam. Thank you for taking time to come and visit Deprogrammed. You guys check him out at Vets Talking. All the links are below, and you are welcome back anytime. We do a pop culture stream here on Wednesday nights. If you ever want to come hang out with us, I'll let you know what some of the topics are. But
yeah.
But
and also, obviously, if anybody wants to check out your show, it's in the Knife Hands playlist. So if you want to see Keri over on Vets talking to the bunch of degenerates, and I know you're going to upload this next week. So Mike Harlow is going to be on this Saturday, but so that'll be after this video is uploaded. But if you guys want to see Mike Harlow, check out the Skinemax Saturday playlist.
I love that he's coming to hang out with Vets Talking. That's awesome.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Cool. So it'll already be out now. So go watch it, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you so much. This is a lot of fun.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay, end recording.